Welcome to this brand new video which is called as our delivery process. Now where exactly you should be right now inside of this program. So firstly, before we even get started, I want to welcome you to the first video of week number 5. Okay. Now if you have reached this stage thus far, you have successfully completed all the lectures at least till week number 3. This means that by now you have signed at least one paying client and validated your business model hypothesis. If I was you personally, I would not worry too much about delivery until and unless you have validated your proof of concept that we formed inside of week number 1, which was your business model hypothesis, that one-page document. Okay, so I'm assuming by now you have done sufficient amount of strategy sessions, minimum of 30, and you have signed at least one paying client. Okay, if you have done that, then congratulations. Let's proceed forward with the delivery process lecture. Now inside of this lecture, here's what we will be covering. Number 1, we'll be covering the importance of delivery, why it's so important and why you should care about it. Number 2, we'll be making the delivery process more effective and efficient using the minimum viable product or the MVP principles. Now, this is a concept that I introduced inside of week number 1 of the program, and I'm hoping that you already know about this. But regardless, we will be touching more about this concept inside of this particular lecture, and I'll be making sure that you apply the principles of this concept in order to deliver high quality performance. That being said, I'll be showing you how to understand the different kind of delivery models that are available out there, which one suits your needs, which one you should go with, which one you should transcend with, etc., etc. A lot of people worried about, Rohan, should I launch an online course? Should I deliver one-on-one? What exactly I should do? There are so many options out there. So I'll be simplifying all that inside of this particular part of this lecture. Finally, I'll be talking about something called as the right clients versus the wrong clients. Okay. Now, I'm assuming that if you're following the program thus far, you want to attract the right kind of clients. You don't want somebody who would cause you headaches in the long run. And inside of this lecture, I'll be just defining both of these characteristics and obviously how you can later on in the future work with only the right type of clients while avoiding the wrong ones. So that being said, let's get into part number 1, which is the importance of delivery. Now, talking about the importance of delivery, what you must understand is that most people are obsessed about marketing and the latest kind of tools or techniques. Okay, they're obsessed with creating the latest website, making the latest branding change, the latest logo. They are obsessed about, chatbots. They're obsessed about email marketing, different kind of techniques out there. However, what you must understand is that the most important element of your success, okay, if you want to succeed as an entrepreneur digitally and you want to take your services or coaching to the next level, then you must focus on delivering phenomenal results to your customers. Okay, this is very important. Make sure that this is your prime focus throughout your entire journey. And I'll be talking about that more in detail inside of this lecture regarding why and everything. So what's going to happen if you deliver amazing results to your customers? Well, 2 things will happen. Number 1, you would have case studies to showcase increasing the value of your portfolio. Okay, so let's say that you work with let's say dentist. Okay, and you deliver one type of dentist, let's say in one particular area, fantastic results. They are really happy with your performance. Now you have something called as a case study that you can reuse in the future to attract more types of dentists, because you can tell them that, hey, if I can do it for this person, or let's say you serve more than one person, let's say you did it for a lot of dentists, right? Then your credibility in that marketplace would be higher, because now you would have either one case study or many case studies that you can show as proof. Similarly, let's say that you're offering, let's say, fitness. You work with mothers between the age of 40 to 55. You help them get results. They'll be happy. They'll be, your case studies. And this can be applied to literally anything that you do, irrespective of what your field is. The second thing that you must understand is that you would be able to ask for referrals by asking your existing customers. Now, as I was talking about the example of dentists, right? If you can help a dentist achieve phenomenal results, then obviously they will be more than happy to refer you to other people inside of their network who might be dentists. And obviously, you can deliver them results as well. Similarly, if you help, let's say, a mother achieve their fitness goals or whatever, she would be more than happy to refer you to her friends and her network and whoever she is associated with so that you can grow your business, right? So that being said, the number three, the third point I want you to understand is, where does this customer satisfaction principle derive from, right? Why is Rohan talking about this customer satisfaction? Why is Rohan saying that delivery is so important? Is he just making this stuff up? The answer is no, I'm not making this stuff up. This principle comes by analyzing some of the best companies out there and how they actually succeeded. And these companies that I'm talking about include Amazon and Walmart. So if you literally just go and take a look at Amazon's shareholder letters, or maybe you take a look at their company's principles, their vision, and whatever conferences or interviews that you can find of Jeff Bezos on the internet, you would realize that this person from day one has been talking about just focusing on the satisfaction of the customer. This means whatever the customer wants, Amazon will take decisions accordingly. In fact, at their board meeting, they actually have, like, I think it's a teddy bear or some sort of like fictitious character, or maybe a stuffed toy or something, that they put on a chair, and that object sits on their board meetings. And whenever somebody has to make a very important decision inside of Amazon, they literally just turn their eyes towards that object or that fictitious character or that teddy bear, which is representing the customer. So if whatever decision they are making is for the benefit of the customer, they will do it. And if it's not for the benefit of the customer, then they will not do it. So if you take a look at some of the major moves that Amazon has played, this includes offering free shipping. This includes offering cheaper items than a lot of the other kind of competitors out there, and taking maybe even a front end loss on the product, just to make sure that the customer is satisfied with the entire experience that happens on Amazon. And you would also notice that the support rate or the support queries at Amazon, there's literally not like a lot of options to talk to support, because Amazon kind of believes that if somebody needs support, then the product that you're offering is not designed well enough. That's the reason why somebody's needing support. So what you need to do is make sure that the customer is so satisfied that they do not even require support. So that's the philosophy that Amazon follows. And what you would notice is that if you look at Jeff Bezos's interviews from the past, just literally you can go to YouTube and watch them. You would notice that he's talking about these concepts from the past 10, 20 years. And there are a lot of successful people who doubted this philosophy, because they were like, Amazon was taking losses for, I think, 10, 15 years, or even more than that. I'm not exactly sure, but they were taking losses for a long period of time. And while other people were thinking that, okay, why is Jeff doing this? Well, what's the main reason behind doing this? This is crazy. This company will go bankrupt or something like that. Jeff Bezos was using that money, and he wasn't caring about short-term gains. He was actually focusing on making sure that the customers are very, very satisfied and they are getting the best experience. And this does even include taking losses at the front end. And that later on became, in the long run, gave the cash flow benefits to Jeff, as well as Amazon, as well as the shareholders of Amazon. And as a result, I think at the time of this recording, Jeff Bezos is the richest man on planet Earth. So that's how this principle is being derived from. Now, where did Jeff Bezos learn all these principles from? Well, he learned these principles from somebody known as Sam Walton. He's the founder, well, he's the late founder and I think CEO. I'm not sure if he was the CEO or not, but he was definitely one of the founders or late founders of Walmart. Now, Walmart is a big company in the United States of America. Obviously, Amazon is now dominating them, but back in the days, I think in around 1900 something, Walmart was like exploding. I think it did really awesome till 2000, initial 2000s as well, till the time Amazon became the dominant player inside of the e-commerce space. Now, if you take a look at what Sam Walton is preaching, he's also talking about the same concept. He says that the most important key player is the customer. So whatever the customer says, you have to make sure that they are being fulfilled and their needs are being fulfilled. If they are happy, then you will win the race. So to know more about these principles, what you can do is you can read this book. It's called as Made in America. Made in America. It's a book by about Sam Walton. I'm not sure if it's written by him or not. However, it's called as Made in America. This is a mandatory reading for anybody who enters Amazon. They have to read this book because it highlights the same principles of customer satisfaction that Sam Walton preaches and the same principles that Jeff applied to his company and became the richest man on earth at the time of this recording. So that's what I would suggest, and this is where these principles derive from. Now, obviously, if you don't have the time to research by reading all the shareholder letters and maybe reading the book, what I've done is I've actually made summaries of every important thing that you can learn from this, and that's what I want to cover in this particular title, which is called as delivery principles. So the first principle is customer obsession. Now, most unsuccessful companies take actions based on short-term gains or based on what the competitor is doing. And by short-term gains, I mean they will take actions that will benefit the founder in the short run, maybe help them make an extra amount of money in the short run, but might not be super good for the customer in the long run. And the other times they make decisions based on what the competitor is doing. So if the competitor is doing this, then they should also do that particular thing. And they are basically racing the competitor. So these companies are either profit-oriented companies, short-term profit-oriented companies, or they are competitor-oriented companies. And this is not the approach that Jeff Bezos recommends. What he recommends is running a customer-oriented company where all the decisions are made based on long-term results of the customer, even if it takes, even if it means taking the extra mile. Okay. Now I want to discuss about a product that Amazon actually introduced. It's called as the Kindle. Okay. I don't know if you've heard about Amazon's Kindle. It's basically an ebook reader. It's kind of like the iPad, but only for books. You can just simply go out there and you can just start reading books that you purchase online off Amazon inside of that particular device. Now, Kindle, when it initially launched, okay, I don't think it might have been like a great hit, to be very honest, due to the competitors like iPad and everything. However, I want to show you, to the extent of how deeply Jeff Bezos cares about his customers and, obsessing about their well-being rather than taking, short-term gains. So when he was making the Kindle, what happened is he had two options. Option number one was like, when he was making the device, it actually required internet to obviously read the books and download the books and everything else. Now that was like a pain, and he could have just probably just sold the book just like that. It's the software or the hardware, the Kindle product, just like that, without the internet, and probably given that pain to probably the customers to figure out, so that they will have to find like a Wi-Fi portal or something like that to connect to or something like that. However, I think what Jeff Bezos did was he took that pain away and he hired engineers, paid them more money, and took the sacrifice of making short-term profits, and he built that internet-enabled system inside of Kindle, I think, which comes in pre-built, where he does not, or you do not necessarily require to go towards the pain of finding all that. It's like pre-built internet, and you can actually utilize and read the books and everything else. So that's the extent that Jeff Bezos went through when he was trying to create a product like Kindle, just because he's obsessed with the well-being of the customers. Now, the other example that I can give you regarding this is when we were trying to make the lecture of low fidelity MVP funnel. Now, if you're inside of this program, you must have seen that particular lecture. Now, what I could have done is I could have just told you that, oh yeah, this is a website, this is how it looks like, this is how it functions. I've made it. Now, this is what WordPress is, this is what you do, just install it and just figure it out by yourself. Now, I could have done that. However, what I did was I gave you literally copy-paste templates and went through the pain of creating the entire process myself so that you can benefit from it and you can create this whole website in a lot faster time span, and you can start getting results so that you can focus on the main thing. So I took away the pain from you being my customer so that you don't have to worry about these things. Similarly, I want you to take the same principle where you take away the pain and you're obsessed about the customer and you don't care so much about short-term gains, rather you care about the long-term gains that you would get by making sure that your customer is extremely satisfied. Now, this obviously doesn't mean that you shouldn't care about profits, because Jeff Bezos wasn't selling things for free on Amazon. You still had to pay money. It's not an NGO. But it involves doing things that will take away the pain of your customers and keep them happy in the long run so that your company is even profitable, in fact, more profitable in the long run within the next 5, 10 years time span that we're talking about, if that's what you're going for. Now, the second thing that I want to talk about, and the second principle of delivery, is focusing on long-term future cash flows and compounding effect. Now, if you haven't heard about the compounding effect, it's a very common principle that every individual, every successful individual preaches about. So what most business owners will experience a lot of profit by following the principles laid down in the program. Now, if you follow every single thing that's covered inside of this program, yes, you will make a lot of profits, with the help of this program. However, the ones who will win would be the ones who would be able to take and retain most of the cash and reinvest the same inside of the business for long-term betterment of the customer. This means rather than thinking about purchasing, let's say, a Ferrari, consider how you can reinvest major portion of this money back in the business that produces better results for the customer. Example, in our particular area, the profits that we earn, okay, rather than I'm not saying that I do not withdraw a salary, okay, as the founder of this company, but that does not mean that I just take all the profits away and just do, let's say, stupid stuff with it. That's not what I do. What you should instead do is take that money and you should focus on reinvesting it right back inside of the business. For example, what we do is we invest a lot of portion of the profits back into ads so that the compounding effect actually happens, so that we are able to make more money in the long run. The second thing that we do is we continuously keep on investing back inside of our product, back inside of my own knowledge, so that I keep on getting better, my product or my service keeps on getting better, so that you, being my customer, has the best experience possible. Now, the third thing is achieving niche mastery and then expanding. So what you must understand is that Bezos started by only working with the books segment and ensuring he was making millions first. All right. If you don't believe me, just go to Google and you can find that information. Jeff Bezos only began by selling books. Once he became the master at solving that niche's problem effectively, which means becoming the best provider on the internet at selling books, then he expanded to other segments. Another example that I can give you of my own is that me only starting with, let's say, agency owners and consultants and then expanding to other demographics. So similarly, I want you to understand that a lot of people who join this program, they're always worried that what about the other niches? Am I missing out on other niches? And what about other different kind of markets that are out there? What if I miss out on that opportunity? To be very honest, you like most of you watching this video haven't reached that stage yet, because niche mastery means that you're making multiple millions of dollars by literally becoming the monopoly inside of that niche. And if you have been able to do that, then obviously it makes sense to tap into other markets. But if you haven't been able to do that, then it's not probably such a good idea, right? So that being said, let's talk about the next topic that we have today, which is making the delivery process effective and efficient using the MVP principles that we have. Now, how do you make the delivery process effective and efficient? Well, number one, you must understand the goal of MVP, which is to keep things lean and simple when starting out. The goal of the startup is to keep things simple by creating a service that can be fulfilled at the most effective plus efficient rate. By effective and efficient rate, I mean that your customers are getting the results and solving that one problem that you're trying to solve for them. And at the same time, it's not costing you a lot of money because of which, you are barely even profitable. So it should be both effective as well as efficient at the same time. So why keep it simple? A lot of people might be asking, Rohan, why not just go ahead and start by creating, let's say, the rocket, start by launching the rocket. Why should I work on creating a cycle first? Well, by keeping things simple, this allows you to test your service fast into the marketplace and then adapt quickly based on the feedback that you get directly from your customers. This means the first time you launch your service into the marketplace, chances are that it won't be a great hit. Chances are that there would be a lot of issues that customers might face. So that's why if you would have put in a lot of money and you would have created this massive service, which is super expensive, super ineffective, super inefficient, and it would have costed a lot of time, money, and energy. And then you would have realized, oh my God, the customer doesn't even need this particular service that I'm providing. Then it's such a waste of your time and energy, right? So why do you want to go through all that pain when you can actually create something simple first, test it out, and then based on the observations that you get, based on the feedback that you get, then keep on improving the product to take it to the next level, right? Now, if you take a look at how Amazon was able to do this particular thing, Amazon day one is nothing compared to what it is today. It started with one niche, with one simple store, with probably a lot of bugs, and it was focused towards only solving one problem, which is helping book lovers connect with their favorite titles without going to libraries or any kind of offline bookstore. They were just solving one problem, and that's it. Based on the feedback that Jeff gained, he was able to make the company that it is today. And to show you, take a look at the left side, which is Amazon when it just started out. In fact, I think in this picture as well, Jeff Bezos was making still millions, right? And you can see that they were only focusing on books. That was their only niche, and they were focusing on achieving niche mastery. And then on the right side, you can see what they are today and how they are basically catering towards every different kind of niche you can think out there. So that's the same principle that I would want you to apply for your business as well. Achieve niche mastery, keep things simple. Don't compare yourself to the day uh, 5,000 of some company towards your own with your own day one. Keep things simple, keep things effective, keep things efficient, and that's how you would be able to succeed a lot faster. So you must remember that your delivery would evolve and enhance over time based on the consistent feedback that you get from your customers. So when you're working with them, chances are something might not go as expected. Some things might screw up or whatever might happen. And you take all those learnings, you record them somewhere, if possible, journal, Journal the way that I taught you inside of week number 2, and then reflect upon it and make sure that you don't repeat that mistake again and you make your processes a lot effective and efficient in the future. So this is how it's going to work. And you can see that this concept is being applied to literally everything inside of this program, because for delivery as well, you have a hypothesis that this is how I'm going to deliver. These are the processes, these are the tools, these are the things that I will be doing in order to deliver results to my customer. And then the second thing that you'll be doing is you'll be working on different kind of projects. You'll be making sure that you try to fulfill the project for the customer. You will gain insights. Some things will go according to how you want, some things won't go as per how you want, and then based on the feedback that you get, you will pivot or iterate from the new insights and your new learnings. So that's how it's going to work out. And then what's going to happen is, as you gain more and more insights, as you gain more and more learnings, you will keep on iterating your business model hypothesis till the time it turns into a proper flipbook. It has different kind of versions. And what you will be doing is you'll be updating this delivery part section of this particular model every single time you gain more and more insights about from your market, basically. So remember, your version 1.0 needs to be small, not very time consuming, not super expensive, and it should be easy to deliver to the marketplace. That's as simple as that. Only focus on solving the one core problem of your niche using the simplest solution possible. Remember, if you try to solve multiple problems, it won't help out. But if you solve just one problem using the simplest solution possible, then you have a greater chance of winning. So remember, it should look something like this. Do not try to just build the car from day one. What you should do instead is, make sure you build a product or a service that at least solves their problem. And if their problem is that they are unable to actually go from point A to point B, which is they are unable to commute, don't build a car initially. Start with a skateboard. Okay, start with a skateboard, then slowly, gradually expand till the time it turns into a proper car, right? And don't follow this process like how most companies actually do it. The other thing I want you to know is, when you're trying to go for simplicity, again, these principles have been covered inside of week number 1. So if you forgot about them, I would highly recommend that you visit the MVP lecture as well as the delivery hypothesis lecture in order to learn more about these concepts. So that being said, as you can see over here, if you, let's say, are offering digital marketing services, what most people will do is they will just go on and start offering every single thing possible. Now, even if you're doing fitness, or maybe you're doing designing, maybe you are doing IT, what most people do is they try to put every single thing inside of their initial offer, and they try to offer every single thing inside of their initial offering, inside of their delivery process. On the other hand, what you should do is you should take into account the one thing, the simplest thing that solves the main problem of your client, okay, whatever their goal is. Okay, just focus on that one thing, one service element that can be done at the most effective and efficient rate, that solves the main problem of your niche, which helps them get the desired result that they want. And this principle of 80-20 rule will going to benefit you a lot. Okay, so focus on 20% of the actions that produce 80% of the results for the customers, right? Because right now over here, this might be producing 20% results, this might be producing 20%, 20%, 20%. What you should do is eliminate all the other things and focus on the main thing that produces the main results. So always focus on those features that will take 20% of our efforts and will cause 80% of the results for our customers. Again, as I said, with the example over here, if the goal of your customer is to get clients, then probably by posting a lot on social media, branding, blogging, SEO, this might, let's say, produce 5% results or whatever. But if you think about it, what really produces results the fastest and the most effective and efficient rate? Well, if paid ads is the scenario, then focus all inside of that and keep these areas either to zero or to the most minimum. And that's how your service delivery process should be like. Now let's talk about the MVP minimum viable product principles and how you should apply them when you are going with the delivery process. Number one, don't do things, actually, do things that don't scale. Okay, do things that don't scale. This is a very, very famous quote inside of the startup world that comes from the co-founder of Y Combinator. This is a very, very famous, successful IT, not IT, but it's a funding firm. I think they are venture capitalists or angel investors. I forgot either one of the two things. And it's a very famous company inside of United States of America. They are responsible for funding companies like Airbnb, Dropbox, some of the best companies that are out there, some of the best products that you use today. And the co-founder of that company says, do things that don't scale. This means try doing things manually rather than relying too much on technology slash automation from day one. It allows you to understand your customers better. Now, to give you an example, there's a grocery app. Again, I don't remember the name, but it's given inside of Lean Startup book. Lean Startup is a great title that you can purchase if you would like to give that book a read. It's phenomenal. It gives you a lot of insights when it comes to building a great startup. Now, what happened was there was this grocery app, and the two founders, they were basically trying to understand the different kind of problems that their customers face when they're trying to just do grocery shopping, because they wanted to create an experience where by clicking on few tabs they could just place the order for the grocery, whatever item that they desire. Now, rather than building the app from day one, rather than investing in a lot of engineers, rather than getting a lot of stock and everything, what the founders did was they contacted this customer and they charged her, I think, a basic fee of like $40 per week or something like that. And they said to her that I'll be doing the grocery shopping for you. And they use basic things like I think text and WhatsApp for communication. Whatever the item she needed, the founders would manually go to the grocery store and do the shopping for her and understand the entire customer experience manually before they involve any kind of technology. And based on the live feedback that they got just by doing this work without involving any kind of technology, without involving any kind of automation, the direct feedback that they got allowed them to actually create a revolutionary app that took the learnings from that manual experience, and it just made it 10 times better. So that's why it's always recommended, do things that don't scale. Try to do things manually and understand the customer's problems first, and then once you understand them inside out, once you understand how the process works, once you understand how everything is going on inside, what's going on inside their mind, what makes them happy, what part of delivery matters the most to them, etc., etc., once you've understood every single element of that, then you can start using different kind of technology and automation that also I will cover later on inside of this program. So keep it simple and focus on the main thing. Adding more services and making things more complex, like uh, they are fancy from the outside but really complicated from the inside. So avoid doing all that stuff. Keep it lean only to the absolute essentials by applying the 80-20 principle as covered inside of week number one, something I just explained to you right now. Only focus on the main thing. Example, I could teach Google AdWords and other kind of digital marketing things inside of this program as well. But that would deviate your focus from the main thing, which is getting customers. Like now you're just becoming a knowledgeable person inside of different kind of digital marketing fields, but you're not accomplishing the goal, the reason why you signed up for this course, which is to get more high ticket clients. Now, if that purpose is not being accomplished, then what's the purpose of teaching you all the different kind of technology and everything like that? I only focus on the main thing that would help you get the main results. And similarly, you should do the same thing when trying to deliver to your customers. Number three, keep fixed costs low and don't worry about vanity things. So do not worry about getting an office and trying to look all fancy with a whole staff. People have this belief that the client will have to visit them and anything could happen. Just don't worry about all those things. Trust me, you do not need it. None of it matters when you're starting out. Keep your focus only towards validating your hypothesis and delivering an amazing experience to your clients. Okay, that's all your focus should be. Office and everything, honestly, you do not need it until at least you're making 70 lakhs per month, at least. Okay, so don't focus on all those things. Keep it very very simple, and focus on just the right thing. Let's get into the next part, which is understanding the different kind of models of delivery that are out there. This is very very important. So before we even proceed, let me just give you a brief summary of each and every kind of delivery model out there, and then I will explain you each one in detail. And finally, you can decide which one makes sense to you, which one you would like to move forward with, and which one you would not like to move forward with based on your current scenario. So yeah, now I'm in front of my screen, and what I want to do is quickly demonstrate to you the different kinds of delivery models that are out there. And then based on obviously your current circumstances, you can select the one that makes the most sense. So what I'll do is I'll just draw this line, and the first model that I want to talk about is actually called as done for you. Now, what exactly is this model? Well, this is perfect for actually those who are starting out because this is the least non scalable model. So, what you do is, let's say that this is you, all right, and this is your client. They have some sort of problem. This could be maybe they don't know how to run Facebook ads, maybe they don't know how to lose weight, maybe they don't know how to design their interiors and everything, or maybe they don't know how to set up their IT infrastructure. There could be a lot of different kind of problems that this particular person might be facing that they cannot do by themselves. So what you do is you come in the picture and you basically say to them that I will do the work, and in exchange this person will obviously pay you money. So what you're doing is you're trading your time for money. This is the simplest model, and this is how most freelancers, consultants, service providers, agency owners actually start off with. And this model is great if you are just dealing with a finite amount of clients. However, if you want to take this to the next level, then obviously you will have to move to the next delivery model. Now, what most people think is that in order to scale, it's very simple. You just bring on another person or maybe another person, and these are basically called as your employees. And you think that if I add more of these people, I could get more of these clients. That's an assumption. Now, this assumption is usually wrong because when you are trying to actually get more people on board, what you have to realize is that you're increasing your fixed costs. Also, the quality actually goes down. And if the quality goes down, then obviously, this is not the most ideal situation because this leads to clients actually leaving you, right? This basically reduces your retention rate, and this allows people to just leave you. And on top of that, your profit margins are low because your fixed costs are high. You need an employee, you need to train them, you need a manager, you need a proper office, you need a whole infrastructure and everything. And this is what most people do. They keep on trading their time for money. And this is the first done for you model that how most people actually begin with. Now, according to me, the next scenario, what you should do after you have done for you done and you have actually accomplished this goal and you have worked with a set number of clients and you have delivered them results and you're done trading time for money, the next stage that actually ends up happening is done with you. So just so that we are clear, I started off with this phase of done for you myself. Then I transitioned to this one and then slowly, gradually to later on stages. And I'll explain you my whole journey at the end once I'm done demonstrating each and every concept. So as you can see, done with you is the next stage that you should transcend to. So rather than adding more fixed costs, what you do is you do 50% of the work yourself, you're still trading time for money, okay, because you're doing 50% of the work, and the remaining 50% of the work out there, you can actually, teach it to your client so that they could actually do the work, and they at the same time learn a new skill, and they are more than happy to cooperate as long as you are able to deliver them the result. And the benefit of this would be that you would be able to obviously save time. You would be able to get more clients on board without reducing your quality rate and without actually adding too much fixed cost, because now 50% of the work is being done by the client, where you will be consistently obviously teaching them and making sure that with your coaching they are able to accomplish the results that is the desired result. Okay, so to give you an example, what I used to do, I used to run Facebook ads as done with you service for other people, and after I was done with that stage, I started teaching 50% of the stuff, and 50% I started doing myself. So for example, I would teach other people how to make their own VSL video, how they can actually create the slides and everything, so that that part is taken care by the client, and what I can do myself is just like run the ads. And similarly, this can be applied to your business as well. Maybe you are into fitness, maybe into IT, maybe into design. You can obviously get client to do 50% of the work that uh, you were supposed to do by basically yourself, but now what you're doing is you are collaborating with the client, and they will also feel good because they're learning a new skill. At the same time, it's helping them get results, and at the same time, it's saving you a lot of time and money. Now, a lot of people might have this myth that, oh no, this is not going to work. My client won't be actually willing to learn this. But trust me, this has been proven, you know, in different kind of industries multiple times. And if your belief system won't allow you to accept the fact that the client is willing to do the work as well, as long as it gets them the final results, you know, it will sell. And to give you a live proof, think about it. You bought this program and this video that you're watching, and you're doing the work. So if this works and you are a live proof of it, it should work with you as well, as long as you're really good at whatever you do. And if you're not good at what you do, stick with model number one and make sure that your clients are getting results first, and then you can transcend to this new model. So that being said, once you have exhausted done with you, the next stage that actually happens is one-on-one coaching. Now, this is the stage that you transcend to once you are done with the level two thing, which is done with you model. What you do is you transcend to something called as one-on-one coaching. Inside of one-on-one coaching, what you would have is you would have two screens. This would be your client. This would be you. And you would be basically teaching the client on software like Zoom whatever they need to know in order to get the desired results. Now, while this teaching process, obviously, you will be using assets. Now, these assets would contain like slides. This could have PDF documentations, questionnaires, just the same way that I provide you. This could contain, some homework or action items, just the same way that I provide to you, to basically make the client do the work. And you're coaching them. You will be coaching them weekly, and you'll be ensuring that they get the desired result that they want by implementing whatever you learn throughout this done with you and done for you process. You'll be teaching it to them so that they are capable of getting the desired result themselves. Now, this is very, very powerful, because if you can do this, you are basically have the ability to escape trading your time. Well, kind of. Well, I'll show you how to regain more of your time later on, but it takes away major pain off your shoulders, because now you're just teaching it to the client, and they have to do the work. They have to report to you. They have to submit everything. And on top of that, it gives you time to just go out there and focus on marketing and sales and growing your business. So this is a wonderful concept where you transcend to, from doing the work, you are actually teaching them whatever they need to know in order to get the desired result. Now, this is a fantastic model. And once you are done and you have exhausted, maybe you have too many one-on-one people inside of your coaching program. And now you're like, okay, Rohan, this is getting very exhausting. What should I do next? The next step would be to basically introduce something called as group coaching. Now, according to this model, what you do is you take multiple clients and you invite them to one Zoom session weekly. You could have two, you could have three. It totally depends upon your program and your MVP hypothesis, just the same way that we covered before. Again, it totally depends upon you. And what you do is you basically coach these people to help them get the desired result in a group format. So now you are basically shifting your one on one coaching to multiple group coaching so that more people are coming on board and they are learning from you and they are getting the desired result. And this is how you would be able to scale this so that more and more people are joining your program and you don't have to give individual attention to each and every person. You can invite them to a group call. You teach them whatever you were teaching before inside of one on one coaching. Again, your assets would be slides, PDFs, and then worksheets or action items. This is what you will be doing so that these people actually get the result, whatever they are looking for, with your help in the format of group coaching. Now, the final model that comes into place, now, this is the most scalable model, and I think the most powerful model, which a lot of people try to jump into place immediately, which is obviously not recommended. And this model is called as online courses. To give you an example of this, take a look at what you are experiencing right now. This is an online course. And this thing takes a lot of efforts to create. Trust me, it takes a lot of efforts to create. And most importantly, it requires you to be really, really good at whatever is it that you're trying to teach them. This means that if people are not getting a result with this model, this model, this model, and this model, they won't be able to get results with your online course. And this means your online course won't work because obviously people won't be getting results. Now, what most people do is rather than doing all this stuff, they think that, let's just start with online courses because it's the most scalable model. This is really wrong. And this is going to cause problems in the long run when people will start asking for refunds. People will start saying that you haven't done this yourself. How are you credible enough to teach me? They will start raising questions that will lead to problems like imposter syndrome, where you will start doubting yourself. So all these things will happen. So make sure that when you scale to online courses, you are you know getting amazing results with these other four layers that I talked about. And trust me, these other four layers are pretty much capable of producing a lot of multiple lakhs worth of uh, revenue for you before you even think about going to online courses, which is again a big mistake that a lot of people make when starting out. When you are ready for online courses, you will just know it. Your students will start getting results. They will start getting phenomenal results. Your delivery process will be systematic. Your marketing and sales and your whole message, the business model hypothesis that we created, it would just start clicking. And you would know that I have now reached a time to scale to online courses. And when that time would be, what you do is you just watch the last uh, video of this particular program, and then you will be able to learn how to scale using online courses as well. However, for now, our focus would be on these models and making sure that we are able to get results, because again, that's the most important thing for our clients with the help of these initial stages. So that being said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to discuss each and every one of these stages in detail so that you get a full clear idea regarding what is what and how to proceed with what at what time. Great. Now that you understand about the different kind of delivery models, let's talk about each one of them individually so that there's more clarity. Now, the first one, as I said to you, is done for you. And this is when you have round about 1 to 5 clients. This is the kind of model that you should operate with. And what exactly is this done for you? This is where you will be doing the work for your clients. Example, when I got started, I used to launch ads, and I used to run ad campaigns for different kind of people in different kind of industries. I used to switch around niches until the time I eventually found my main niche, which is what you see today. And this kind of model is best suited when you're starting out, and this is what you should do. Now, the primary focus when you are inside of this stage is finding your value in the marketplace to serve and validate your value. What do I mean by this? Well, this basically means, since you're just starting out with this model, this is like usually what most beginners do. According to this model, your primary goal should be to make sure that whatever you're offering, is it even valuable? Is the business model hypothesis that you created, is that even working? Are people actually buying from you? And if they are buying, are they getting results? So these are the kind of things that you need to consider if you can produce value in the marketplace or not by doing the work for your client. Because think about it, let's say that you, rather than following the stage number one, you start off with online courses straight away. At that point of time, you have so many different kind of variables, like you're trying to validate your message, you're trying to validate your business model hypothesis, you're trying to make sure if people are buying or not. And then on top of that, you haven't even validated your delivery, and you straight away just create bunch of videos which may or may not make sense to your client. So you must realize that the point of doing this done for you, which is a very, very important part of your delivery process when you're starting out, you have to make sure that you're able to find your value in the market to serve. Can you actually provide value to other people? And if you can, you have to validate it in the form of sales and results for your clients. The secondary focus is to develop your self belief and your ability to be a consultant. Now, at this point of time, when people start off with this model, usually they have a lot of different kind of misconceptions that, would I be able to get these people results? Am I even deserving enough to be a consultant? Should I charge high ticket prices? Should I even do this whole process? Does this program even work? At this point of time, you might be having like a lot of different kind of beliefs, and the reason for that is because so far you haven't been able to validate whatever you have hypothesized thus far. But once you have like that consistent series of sales coming in and people getting results with the help of whatever you're teaching them or doing for them, that's when you will start shifting your mindset. And if you are not already doing, I highly recommend that at this point of stage you follow the week number 2 mindset lectures very, very heavily, because this is where you will need them the most. Now, your biggest need at this point of time is to realize that the marketplace already exists. This means if you have followed all the exercises properly, you must have concluded that the market that you're trying to enter, it already exists. There are people selling. There are people who are very, very successful in that particular area. However, you have to now find out your place in the marketplace and the value that you can bring to other people with the help of your services or your advice or whatever you're providing to them. So you must understand this particular concept that the marketplace is already there. You just need to make sure, can you make it better with whatever you're offering or not? And the key question that you must ask is, who am I? Why am I different? Why should these people listen to me? Why should they buy from me? And that's the reason why I made you do those week number 1 exercises, so that you are clear about all these different kind of questions. And most importantly, that's the reason why I told you to go out and do the sales script, so that you can find out what exactly the market wants and then adjust your offering and your messaging accordingly, so that these people resonate with you. Now, at this point of time, your internal struggles would include overcoming your fear of being judged by others. Now, this is a very, very common problem that a lot of beginners actually face when they're just starting out. They might think that, oh, should I actually, post content on Facebook? What if my friends actually see it? What if the client actually, I take the money from the client, but I'm not able to actually deliver them the result? What if that happens? The client will judge me. What if I actually, go full time into this? My parents will judge me. My family will judge me. What am I doing with my computer? All these different kind of fears will be out there in your mind. You will also need to overcome the fear of failing. At this point of time, you might be thinking, if this is the right thing that you have done, should you even move forward with it? Would you even be able to get results to your clients? What if they're dissatisfied? What if they leave you? What if there's a negative review? There's so many different kind of things that might be going on in your mind. And remember, these are all your inner voices, your subconscious just playing tricks with you. Take a deep breath, let it go. Just let it go. And the other, struggle that you might have would be overcoming perfectionism and just launching it. So already told you that with the MVP concept, your goal is to launch fast, keep it simple, keep it very, very effective and efficient at the lowest cost possible. Now, what most people do is, this is a very, very big problem, at least with software companies. They would spend months and years assembling this team and building this perfect thing, and then they won't even be happy with it. Then it would have like different kind of versions, and then after a year or two they would start going to the marketplace and then trying to sell the software that they have already made, and they would try to make it perfect, and then they would realize, oh no, the market didn't even want it in the first place. And that's the reason why I told you to do sales in the first place, so that you don't have to face this problem. So don't worry about perfectionism. The chances of you not having a perfect product in the first place is very, very normal. If you think about any great thing in the world, it all started off not being perfect, and slowly, gradually, based on the feedback they got, they improved. So don't worry about it. The more you think about it, the more you will procrastinate, the more you will delay this. So just launch it, just do it. Now, the advantage of this particular process and this particular stage is that it allows you to give your customers that personal touch. And more importantly, the chances of them not getting the result is very low, because now everything is in your control. So if you're really good at what you do, then yes, you would be able to manage everything. You don't have to rely on anybody else. You would be able to provide personal touch, and you would be able to do the work as required. And the challenge of this particular model is that you will need to hire more and more employees, and this will increase your fixed costs in order to grow. Again, most people, as I already talked about, believe that in order to scale, they will have to get more people, more employees, and everything. And this is not necessary, because the next model that I will talk to you about is better than actually doing this particular process with just a lot more employees. Now, here's a caveat that I want to talk to you about. If you are offering something, let's say like fitness, now obviously you cannot work out for the client. That's pretty obvious. You cannot eat the right kind of diet for them to lose weight or gain muscle or whatever. This means that you might have to skip some of these models and go and find the most relevant towards your needs. Okay, remember this part. Now let's move on to the next part, which is done with you model. Now, when exactly you should do this? When you have around about 5 to 10 clients to deal with. What exactly this means is, this is where you do 50% of the work for the client and make them perform the remaining 50% of the work. And this, using a collaborative effort, you are able to accomplish the one thing that you both are looking for, which is their results. And you also get to save a lot of time and a lot of cost during this whole process. To give you an example, let's say when I used to work with clients, I basically shifted to this model where I started running the ads for them, and I told them that this is how you make a VSL. I gave them a whole documented process, just the same way I provided to you with previous case studies. And I told them that, just assemble all these pieces together, create a VSL, and I will make sure that the ads are being done. And this way, the client also gets to learn a new skill, and they are happy, and you are happy as well. Now, the primary focus is to continue delivering results to your clients while finding slash validating your value. And during this time, also creating processes for clients to do 50% of the work with you, so that they are collaborating on this project alongside. So this does not mean that your search for finding value is just done. Okay, you're still trying to find value inside of the marketplace right now. And by value I mean how you can actually help other people, because right now with like 5 clients you would be having like results and you would be feeling pretty confident, but you're like an explorer. You're still trying to gain that 110% confident that if I just do this, this is just going to work. Okay, so that level of confidence you're still trying to find, and at this point of time you're also trying to create process where you can free up some more time and you can start bringing on more and more clients in place by making your existing clients do 50% of the work. Now the second focus of this would be understanding your strengths and your clients strengths. Okay, now this is very very important, because at this point of time you're trying to you know gauge what exactly are you really good at, and what things are your clients good at, and what exactly are they going to benefit the most from. Now, in my particular example, what I realized is that i'm I was really good at running ads at that point of time. However, my coaching skills and my teaching skills were not up to the mark. However, the client I used to work with, they were obviously consultants and coaches. So what I told them, or what I recommended to them, is to use their face, because they're already good at talking and everything. So you create the slides because that's your strength, and you do the presentation and everything. I will give you the format and everything, and I will teach you. However, I'll be doing what I'm good at. This is my strength, and I will be able to deliver to you the right kind of advertisement work. So similarly, you can think about how that applies to your particular scenario. And the key question that you are trying to basically answer over here is that if I teach 50% of my processes to the clients, would I be able to free up some time and get more clients on board? Can you validate this hypothesis? Can you actually free up 50% of your time? Because if you can't and they're not getting results, then obviously there's something wrong with your delivery process. And you have to go back to the drawing board and try to figure out why. Okay, why aren't they able to get the results, and why aren't you able to free up the time? Now over here, your internal struggles will be that the client won't be willing to do the work, and things won't go as planned. Now a lot of people have this myth that, Rohan, most clients, they just don't want this headache. They just want somebody to just come into place and just do the work for them, and for them to just magically get results. Now, what happens is, when you do get clients like such, they actually have the wrong attitude. They do not care about growing their business. They are just more, they just want to free up their time and just, not really do the work. Now, this is not the kind of attitude that you would want to serve, and these are not the kind of clients that you would want to work with, because for their own results and for their own benefit, if they have to do something which for a fact, if they do it, they will get the results, and they're still not willing to do it, then this means that these clients do not deserve you. So you must overcome this objection that your inner voice is giving to you, that clients won't do the work. They will do the work. Aren't you doing the work? Aren't you here sitting doing the work? Well, if you can, why can't other people do it? You just have to make sure that you set the right mindset. And I'll show you how to do all that stuff later on inside of this particular module that you are going through. But remember that this myth, if it comes into your mind that, oh no, clients won't do the work, well, it's a myth. Don't believe it. Let it go. Work on your mindset. And the advantage of doing this would be, you could save on hiring employees by making your clients do 50% of the work. They are paying you and they are also doing the work. This is amazing, right? And they will do it if obviously it helps them get the result. And you also get more time to do more calls and close more deals. Now, this advantage of this particular process would be that the work you can do in 2 minutes will take the clients some more time, because obviously um, they are learning. They are actually implementing it themselves. Probably you have like a lot of experience doing that particular thing. However, this could be actually managed pretty well if you actually play to your strengths. So this means, earlier I told you that if your strengths are good at one thing and your client's strengths are good at another thing. So figure out a collaborative way where they could work around their strengths and they get it done faster, and you play towards your strengths so that you get it done faster. And what happens is gives you more time to do more calls and to close more deals. Oh, actually, sorry, my bad. I think I read the old part. However, as I was talking about, the disadvantage is that this issue can be resolved if you have proper processes and you play to your strengths, as I talked about earlier. Now let's talk about the other one. This is one-on-one and group coaching. I've kind of combined this together because this is basically kind of like the same, but you're just adding more variables when rather than just teaching one person, you have more people coming into the call and you're teaching a bunch of them. So this is what you should do when you have more than 10 clients, because then if you're doing the work, even if you're doing just 50% of the work, it becomes really challenging to manage a lot of the different kind of clients out there. Now, this does not mean that I haven't seen agencies be able to do it, with just like a lot of clients. They It's possible, but again, I told you, it increases headaches, it increases infrastructure cost, and all those other things. So the easiest thing you can do is move on to one-on-one or group coaching. Or what you can do is you can continue working with less amount of clients, keep raising your prices, okay, and keep raising your prices, and make sure that you only work with, let's say, less than 10 clients, but they are premium clients. Otherwise, the next model to scale with is called as one-on-one and group coaching. Now, what exactly is this? This is where you transition from a worker to a coach by teaching your niche how to achieve their desired results. Now, you will be beginning, or you will begin this by coaching clients one-on-one, and then later transitioning it into multiple group sessions where more than one person can actually join you. They could participate on the call, and then you could obviously help them out accordingly. Now, the primary focus of this is to take the learnings you had while providing done for you or done with you services earlier. Whatever you learned during that whole process, you must have gained a lot of experience, and you might have like swipe files, templates, PDFs, different kind of material that now is ready to be taught to your niche. And what you can do is then you can transition the same into presentation slides and different kind of assets, just the same way like how I'm presenting to you, but obviously you'll be presenting in live coaching format. And you have to make sure that you are able to master the ability to coach somebody. This is a really, really important skill, which is again thankfully covered inside of this program later on, and you'll be learning about that. So this is really important for your transition. Now, the secondary focus is fighting your inner belief that your niche won't want to learn from you, slash you don't want to be a teacher. Okay. Now, what's going to happen is, again, as usual, your mind will play games. It will try to come up with different kind of objection and excuses. It will form belief that, Rohan, my niche, why would they want to learn all this from me? Why? They just want somebody who just does the work for them. Again, if you're really good at providing results, and if you have like a lot of case studies from the past done for you and done with you work that you did, then people would pay you even to learn via one-on-one or group coaching if you can help them get the desired results. So do not assume that you cannot act, or people won't be willing to actually pay you money for learning. The other thing is that people have this misconception that, Rohan, I don't want to be a teacher, I just want to own um, you know like a service agency or something like that. Again, that's a myth, because technically you're not a teacher, you're becoming a consultant. Okay, when you're a consultant, there are like big consulting firm, billion-dollar giants as well that do consulting. You can't compare both like teachers. Okay, so just remember that, fight these, don't like these inner voices will try to stop you. Just don't let them stop you. Now, the key question is, can I teach somebody these skills I have learned and still get them results even without doing the work for them? That's like a key question. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to be easy, because now you have to take all the knowledge that you applied throughout this whole process and then turn it into slides and different kind of assets, right? And it's kind of like what I did when I was starting off with UFT, like literally brainstorming, okay, what exactly did I do in order to get this particular result? And similar thing that you have to do in order to make sure that you are able to transition. And then your internal struggle would be that Rohan, nobody would want to learn from me. Again, I've already covered this point. It's just a belief. People would want to learn from you if you're really good at what you do, if you have past testimonials, and you can get them the desired result. Nobody else can. And the advantage of this is that you can scale this by freeing up time from delivery, because now, you don't have to do the work. You're just like going to come, attend the call, you're going to teach, and the session will be recorded. That's it. You're done. And then rest of your time, let's say if you do teaching for 2 3 4 hours per day, rest of your time you can devote towards let's say doing sales calls or whatever. And the disadvantage of this is that you will obviously eventually max out on the number of group sessions that you can host. Again, you're still kind of trading your time for money, and this will eventually max out when people, you will start getting like a lot more people. And when that happens, that's when you reach the final stage, which is called as online courses. Now, this is when you have reached a point that you cannot just take more group coaching clients at all. And this is the time to expand this business. You have perfect proof of concept. Your business model hypothesis is working bang on. You are getting consistent sales. Now it's time to start transitioning into online courses, just the same way I'm teaching you right now. Now, the primary focus would be leveraging time, obviously stepping away from private coaching to developing a leverage coaching program that actually includes automation. Now, how would automation actually be included? Take a look at how I'm able to teach you and pass on my message to you right now without actually being there with you, but you are still, you have the ability to achieve the result. Okay. So this is what the capability is once you reach this particular stage. Now, the secondary focus is obviously generating consistent cash flow, because now you're at a level where you have, a lot of different things going on inside of your business. It's no longer a passive income business. It's a business that generates solid amount of income, and you have to make sure that income keeps on coming in through while you focus on sales and marketing as well, because that's the main thing that will get the income inside. And your biggest need is creating systems and processes inside your coaching program so that you can focus purely on sales and marketing instead of delivery basic operations, like doing the work, managing calls, and all that stuff. The key question that you will have to answer is, will I be able to get results from using an automated system for my program? And how do I free up more of my time? Okay, this is like a big key question. If I introduce automation, every single thing that I've learned thus far, if I use automation, would I be able to free up my time or not? This is a key question that you will have to answer. And your internal struggles would be, you're afraid that your clients won't follow the systemized program that leverages automation, and therefore devaluing yourself. Okay, this basically means you don't think that they will follow every single thing just the way you're following everything. You think that people won't do it for you. This is like, again, an internal struggle that people have. Don't let it fool you. This is just a myth. If you do everything correctly, people will follow. And then you're afraid to rely on automation and processes, so you constantly check your apps to make sure everything is working. Okay, this is like, you have to make sure now you're relying on like some heavy automation, and this is some advanced level stuff. So you have to make sure that every single, you know organism inside of your system is performing to the 0.01% of perfectionism without actually using a lot of manual time and manual labor. This is where you reach the ultimate level of scaling. Okay. And the advantage of this is, obviously, you can scale it to however many students you want to add. It's as good as that. Now, what I want to talk to you about is something called as right clients versus wrong clients. You understood the different kind of delivery mechanisms and models that are out there. However, one thing that I see a lot of people make a mistake about is they end up working with the wrong kind of client, which causes them problems in the future, irrespective of what kind of delivery model that you follow. So I want to discuss some of the wrong client characteristics so that you are clear regarding what kind of people you should not work with, what kind of people you should not deliver. The first one would be people who would haggle or ask for discounts. These people do not see the value that you are bringing out to them, or more importantly, they either have wrong belief sets that basically hold them back. Okay. This means that they have never invested inside of them before, which is why they are obviously, going to haggle and ask for discounts and stuff like that. These clients are really, really annoying, and there's literally no point working with them. Now, here's a nice little technique that you can actually follow in case you do come across such clients. What you can do is you can work on altering their belief system, and only if they are willing to be open minded enough to listen to what you are sharing with them, then you can accept them. Otherwise, if they will continue to ask for discounts, you know just make them clear that Rolls Royce doesn't offer discounts. Very simple. Second thing, repeatedly not making the payment on time. If somebody causes you delays in payments or is not showing the right kind of characteristics sticks from day one, then probably they are not the right kind of clients that you should continue working with in the long run, because at one point your priority would be towards getting new clients and towards making sure delivery processes are good. And if you keep spending your time chasing after people who haven't made the payment, then this is going to cause like a big problem for you. The number three is not following the processes and systems that you have laid out for their success. This includes contacting you outside the systems of communication that you will lay out for them, covered later inside of the program, or maybe treating you beneath them. So if you give them certain processes and systems that, okay, this is what you have to do, this is how it's going to work out, if they are not open minded towards accepting those rules and following them for their own success. For example, you might have noticed that inside of the whole program, I've laid down some strict principles and strict systems and processes that everybody needs to follow. Anybody who doesn't adhere to the same thing gets kicked out, and you have to make sure that you are able to set the same standards for yourself, so you're not spending most of your time spoiling your mindset, dealing with the wrong kind of people. And then finally, it would be people with the incorrect belief system, people who are out there who think that money is evil, or not understanding the concept of investment, that why they should actually take upon your services or your program or your advice. People who are not feeling confident in their own abilities to realize the results. If they are not feeling confident, you have to make them confident, and if they're still not, then chances are they would screw up in the long run for you, because they won't do the work, and the person who will be blamed would be you. So even though these things can be tackled using sales objection training in the program, which I've already given to you, you must realize that even if you make them understand about your new belief pattern that you learn with this program, it will be difficult for them to make an overall change. Why? Because they were conditioned to believe a certain way since they were born. Hence, after working on their belief system, if you have tried your best to change their belief system, if such clients are still showing characteristics of having the wrong beliefs, it's time to let them go. You must remember this, okay? So, that being said, we come to the end of this particular lecture of this module. And over here, we covered quite a lot of things. Number one, you learned about the importance of delivery, why you should focus on it, and why it's probably the most important element of your entire business. Second thing, we talked about making the delivery process much and more effective and efficient using the MVP principle. So remember, keep it simple, keep it short, keep it effective, keep it efficient, and start small whenever you're going out with your delivery process. The third thing we covered was understanding the different kind of delivery models. I went into detail regarding which one you should select based on your current circumstance, and how you should transition to the next one as you keep on making progress with the program. Then finally, I talked about the right kind of client versus the wrong kind of client. I shared with you the characteristics of clients whom you should avoid when you're trying to, offer them services or advice or whatever. And then I also showed you how to utilize the worksheets that I gave you inside of week number one. That's the day in the life worksheet and niche hypothesis worksheet, to make sure that you know exactly who's the ideal character whom you are very, very interested in working with your dream client. Okay. So, really important, and make sure that you follow that. So, that being said, the action items of this particular lecture would include: number one, select the delivery model that works best for you based on your current circumstances. And then finally, get clear regarding the right type of clients that you wish to attract inside of your business. So I hope this lecture was of use to you. Inside of the next lecture, we will be talking more about how to onboard the client. So once you have signed the client, once you have accepted the payment, what do you do next and how do you get started with things? That's exactly what we will be covering inside of the next lecture. So thank you so much for watching and sticking in through. I'll be seeing you there.